Hi to the people that forgot they had the stream running in the background and got jump scared. Echo. Um, is the echo that bad? There might actually be an echo. Wait. I know why. No, that is not why. Sorry. Hey everybody. This is my first stream at a new place. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm sorry if the things are weird. No echo. Thank God, because there is kind of a We're good. We're good. That means we're good. Hey everybody. I'm Brad. Sorry it's been a while. That neck pillow looks so ahead of its time. You are not a true spatial compooper if you don't have a neck pillow on 24/7 all the time. Yeah, anyway, hey. So, what state? Okay, anyway, yeah. Let's get a little background. So I did move like a month ago. And it was a big move. People know me as the Florida man, right? The Florida man, the weird VR Floridian person. There's something kind of weird about living in Florida, or not just Florida, but living in a very hot place and being very interested on putting a 1 pound thing on your face all the time. It's not really compatible, right? So I've been wanting for a while to move up north where it's colder, much colder. So I pretty much moved from the bottom of the country to the very top of the country. Yeah, somewhere near a Great Lake. And yeah, I now live somewhere completely different. It's a very big change for me, but it's been fun. The weather is really nice most of the time, and if I was in Florida, the weather would not be what I would consider nice all the time. So yeah, very normal. Yes, I moved for VR basically. Yeah, because it's getting hotter every year, and it pains me. It pains me. Anyway, that's it. If you did Detroit, no, I'll just tell you, I live in Wisconsin. I won't. Yeah, Wisconsin. I've been told this is the cheese state, but I literally did not know that moving into here. And when I tell people that I don't actually really eat that much cheese, they were like, "Well, Brad, you live in like the wrong place for that." So anyway, cool. Thanks for the congratulations. Yes. Yeah, and this is my new place. It's actually a pretty humble apartment, but the cool thing is, if I give you a quick little tour, I'm gonna do a little spinny thingy. See if this works right. Okay. This is my VR space now, and my workspace. There are no monitors. That's how you know I'm serious about this. Yeah, which I will talk about a little bit because people think I do this for attention. The whole like spatial computing thing. It's not really that. I think if you've been watching my channel for the past couple years, I've talked a lot about Steam VR overlays and the possibilities of a lot of focus on VR displays, right? Because I kept seeing this possibility where VR display technology at some point will surpass flat display technology. And even though there's still a lot of problems with that today, I'm a big believer in that. And it's really the idea of like taking your entire workspace and like everything you do, having the variability of sizes and shapes of displays, and like having that wherever you go, the mobility factor with something that's still VR, being able to take you anywhere you want, whether it be now in AR or VR. That has been a very magical concept in my brain. And I was just waiting for the right headset for the hardware level, really. Software obviously helps a lot for that, actually, too. I was waiting for the right hardware to get me there. And when I got the Vision Pro, I had to, it got there for me. Yeah. So it's awesome. Yeah. I really love this stuff, and like, okay, actually, I'm not gonna talk much about Vision Pro because I feel like the last times you guys have talked to me, it's been all about Vision Pro. But because I haven't really done a video review or anything, just a lot of spam of tweets and like experiments I've done with the Vision Pro on Twitter, I do want to just like summarize my feelings on this. And It actually surpassed my expectations in a lot of ways. It gives me the same feelings I got. Oh, let me leave it this way. There's a lot of times where I have to buy VR hardware because my job for the past 8 years have been buying VR hardware and just reviewing it, right? It's very rare where I buy a piece of VR hardware and then when I ask myself the question, if I wasn't doing YouTube, would I still buy this hardware and use it daily? For me, this headset's one of those rare occasions where I say yes to that. And I think a lot of it is because it is kind of very dev kitty, and like there's a lot of hardware and software systems that have not even been tapped into like at all yet. Like I look at this hardware and I'm like, wow, there are things here that we have not been able to do in previous VR hardware headsets and software as time goes on. And it's been a very fun experience for me. Yeah. Please still do a video review? Yeah, I will. I think I will. Yeah. But just to summarize it, it's a very fun headset for me to use. I'm aware it's overpriced and not for everyone, but I see the value in having a headset like this at the price it is. It's $3,500. Um, the components inside are very expensive, and there hasn't been really any. I think really actually only Apple could do something like this, right? Only Apple could release a freaking $4,000 headset and get away with it, and actually have. When you think of the span of how small our industry is, having 200,000 plus sales of something like this very niche product is actually pretty notable for a very low volume product. But really, it's the stage that only Apple can set because they're kind of forcing people to change their directory a little bit. There's not really this race to the bottom anymore. I don't feel that as much from the industry and talking to people as much as I did like 3 years ago. So I actually feel more happy with what the state of the industry is in because of this product existing than if it did not exist. And for people who can't afford a headset like that, that's fine. This stuff will eventually come down to other platforms you use, and it's very great. It makes me very, very happy that we have something like this. So, yeah. My support link is broken. That's okay. I just copy paste stuff. It's okay. But yeah. Or can't buy it because it's not available places. Yeah, that's a problem too. But like I look around on I've been like noticing some of the okay. Actually, here's a good segue. I thank you for the $2, Mike Grant. I want to answer that in a second because I think this will segue back to this. But so I just took the Quest 3 and did their recent update, which people were talking about how it improved the pass-through visuals a bit. And I literally just downloaded it before the stream. I took a quick look around, and yeah, they did actually improve. I would say the colors are more natural. I literally just put it on for like 10 minutes before I did the update, looked around, kind of looked at all the lighting scenarios I can create for my apartment. Then I did the update and did the same thing. I probably should have recorded that in hindsight. I clearly don't have content creator brain, but whatever. And the colors before, I would say, were more vivid, but not really accurate. Whereas now, like the actual warmth of the room, a lot of lighting in this room is very warm. It felt more like that in the headset's pass-through. And the dynamic range was better. Things weren't as blown out as much, right? From looking out the window to the left here and looking at light bulbs. But it still wasn't as good of HDR as Vision Pro if you really want me to do that comparison. But I think it's a really good update. I think once Quest 3 gets rid of the hand warping, and then if they ever add hand occlusion, I think people will really seriously enjoy using this product for very casual content consumption way more than they currently do. Because I think people underestimate how valuable it is to see your hands in a very normal-ish way and not having warping and see them on top of overlaid content. It's very valuable, more than I think people would expect unless they've tried it. So I think this headset will get better, and I think the updates that they're making, maybe because of Vision Pro, maybe not, are good. So yeah, good stuff. Quest 3 is so uncomfortable to wear. Most headsets are very uncomfortable to wear. I use the Honestly, though, I have not touched this thing for months, but not because it's a bad product. I think it's actually a very good product. I did a review basically saying this is the only Quest I've actually liked that's ever released, and I still stand by that. But obviously, I have another headset here that pretty much does everything I want to do, so I don't really come back to this headset very often. But it's nice to come back once in a while, see what updates they're making, and really, I keep seeing on Twitter a lot of there's always like these new kind of booms of like what's popular in terms of like content being put on App Lab or whatever. Like obviously during Gorilla Tag's big first wave, there were a ton of Gorilla Tag clones. There were a ton of Mario Kart VR type clones for a while. The new one, ironically, is a bunch of multitask window programs in Quest 3 that I keep seeing people post new videos about, and they always try to copy. They actually literally like legit try to copy the Apple Vision Pro's UI, which is not a bad thing because actually the first thing I tried to do when I put the headset on was actually look around and try to look for a handlebar on the bottom of a window, and then I realized I totally forgot how I'm actually supposed to move windows on the Quest OS because it's actually not that obvious. It's not that obvious. You grab anywhere around the window and then it moves, but like I think it was kind of weird to realize that. But all right. Anyway, but to answer the question earlier, I'm gonna finish my Vision Pro things with this $2 donation was from Michael Grant again, was asking what I want from Vision OS 2.0. And the big things I want is I want higher refresh rate for the hand tracking. The hand tracking in Vision Pro works at 30 hertz for the skeletal stuff. So anything that actually involves like using the skeleton or like doing immersive apps, it's only 30 hertz right now, which is what the Quest actually started with when they first did hand tracking. But then they upgraded it to 60 hertz, and that obviously improves things quite a bit, doubling the refresh rate. I know that is being worked on. I just don't know if that's going to hit with 2.0, but it's pretty important. Another thing I really want them to improve or add for 2.0. So this thing, one thing I really like about this thing is it never stops using all the hardware inside of it, if that makes sense. Like these both have like depth projectors that they use to obviously map out the environment and use that for different use cases. But the Quest 3 doesn't really use their depth sensor that often. Like ever, which is really kind of unfortunate because you have the hardware in here, and but this thing uses it like they'll turn it on like almost every other minute or something to make sure the scan is currently up to date. That way they can apply shadows, they can apply a bunch of different things to your environment for each app, and I really like that. But one thing that they're not utilizing right now with that depth map is I want to be able to snap things to surfaces. Like let's say I scan out a table or a wall. I want that actual depth map to literally be able to just grab a window, snap it to there without perfectly aligning things, and being so careful about it. And the main reason why that's valuable is if you have like a surface like this, right? You want to put like a map app or something down. If you could snap it to the surface and then rub your finger, interact, direct touch with it, then you kind of get a haptic feedback of the fabric or material that you're using. So you don't have to worry about the only relying on the phantom touch that you get from just seeing your finger overlaid onto the environment. If you snap stuff to objects, you can have stuff like that. I know that's like a really weird instance of why you would want it, but that's kind of what my brain goes to quite a lot. And swipe keyboards. Yeah, swipe keyboards are pretty good, but to be honest, I think even when they add swipe keyboard, I do agree, they should add swipe keyboards. Swipe keyboards actually make a ton of sense, and typing on any virtual keyboard honestly sucks. Like, I don't like typing on the Vision Pro keyboard, I don't like typing on the Meta Quest keyboard, I don't like typing on the Steam VR keyboard. All of them are really bad. And I always... Some of you might have seen this on my Twitter, but again, this is why I like the Vision Pro. It allows me to do like silly, stupid stuff like this. But hey, headless MacBook Pro. Had a shattered, basically the backlight on the display was completely broken, so someone put it up online. I bought it for quite cheap. I tore off the display, and now I use it as both a fancy keyboard and trackpad with extra compute for doing stuff like video editing. I'm kind of a big fan of headless compute. I know we talked about the idea of compute pucks on this channel before, but yeah, being able to do stuff like that, I feel more inspired to do stuff like that because of the way the hardware and software platform works, and I am very excited to see how Samsung with the Google partnership does on their end, because I think that'll be fun too. I think I'll have a lot of fun with all these high-end headsets and these new kind of refocused software ecosystems popping up from the big players. I think that's a lot of fun. So yeah, someone making a no, not whiplash insurance claim. That'd be funny. Maybe I should sue Apple. Maybe I should say my neck hurts because I wear the Vision Pro all day and sue Apple. Oh my god, I'd be so rich. Wow. Anyway, I want to say it's cursed, but I kind of like it. It's. I think it's actually a good idea. Like, I can see this becoming a product. Maybe even if Apple doesn't do it, but I think there's something there about. So just to explain, I can literally have this MacBook connected to my headset. I can have my PC that doesn't have a display connected to my headset, and I can have like a Steam Deck. All three devices connected at once to my headset. So it's like multiple headless computes at once, and it's kind of like a magical thing in a way. But yeah. Be rich until Apple counter sue you. That's a fair point. I will not sue them. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun messing with it. I really like the product a lot. I like seeing where it's going to go, because I think there's a very and again, this goes back to the price. When I know the price and like the price they sell this at and like the components that they can kind of keep pushing on the roadmap, there's a lot more improvements that I think can be made to the components here, like especially the displays. Displays are amazing, obviously, but the worst thing about the visuals is the persistence is still not low enough. So that's a big bummer. And also another improvement that I think could be made to the visuals is the vertical FOV it's got a little bit of a letterbox. They actually do it pretty naturally. So I've tried many what I would call letterbox FOVs before, and this one does it elegantly, but still not enjoyable compared to having like a more rounded FOV, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal, actually, I did measurements, is like around same FOV I get horizontally for index, but vertical it's like 85 degrees or something. So it's kind of awkward. The joke is their personas don't have legs either, but it doesn't even matter because the FOV, the vertical FOV, wouldn't allow you to look down to see their legs without moving your head anyway. But yeah, funny. They're using black frame insertion, but that's kind of the thing is you lose a lot of brightness doing that. And they're using dual layer white OLED from Sony in the headset. And I think they might be pulling a Sony PSVR 2 a bit, where they're prioritizing that brightness and that HDR wow factor from the displays more than the persistence, which is the only reason it's bearable for me compared to the PSVR 2 is the kind of stuff you do in this headset is very stationary. You're not really moving your head around as much compared to VR gaming, but it's still something that I if I could change anything from the visuals, it would be that improved. So every VR headset does a lot of black frame insertion, but there's a level of how much they can do based on choices the manufacturer makes. LCD, it's very, very easy to make an LCD run at like a 10% duty cycle and still be very bright because the backlights can be super bright, right? OLED, concerns with lifetime as you make it brighter, drive it brighter and stuff. So that's why Samsung buying my favorite company that I talked about for a few years on this channel, the Imagine company, not only just buying it, but constantly going into the public and saying, we are focusing on productizing this technology, warms my heart because that will solve a lot of these problems that I complained about. So, Bradley, you're destined for greatness. Do your own VR headset brand. I would never want to make a headset, frankly, but I did recently get hired by a company called EOZ. If you don't know them, they are very well known for making straps for full body trackers. And I guess you could say my title is project manager, and it's been really, really, really great working with them already because I'm learning a lot of kind of the processes of making something from step one to mass production. And it's really awesome. I get to like push for accessories that I want in VR to be made and see how far that will get. But yeah, thank you. All right. I actually had to set up this stream. We will talk more after the stream. Obviously, I was a little late starting the stream and stuff, but we will talk more about XR after the Pimax thing. Pimax is always kind of entertainment. I know people like Pimax, like especially simmers. I'm not a simmer. Remember that if you're coming here to watch someone give. Well, let's see. Anyway, yeah, you're me. Okay, I need to plug in this thing. Finally, Brad left. I saw that. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna literally watch the Pimax show together. I hope it's not long, dude. I heard some really I heard some rumors about the product they're announcing today. I'm kind of hoping they're not true because I heard two rumors. One is good, one is bad. One good rumor is that Lighthouse is very likely to be supported in the headset. I heard that from a supply chain source at least, but I don't know if that means they're going to do the faceplate thing again or whatever. Second thing is, and this is the one I hope is not true. I heard a rumor about them tiling displays, which tiling displays is when you have multiple small displays right next to each other, and then you make a big display with that. But that's very not recommended. Very not recommended, especially if it's like one optic. But we'll see. We'll see. The industry early on actually did try to do tiling of displays for micro OLED, small micro OLEDs, like back in 2016 era. None of them made it into products from these companies, so that should tell you everything right off the bat. So, yeah, it's a hard problem to do right. Even Pimax, think about Pimax. Pimax were they were not tiling displays, but Vario. Vario was kind of doing something similar to what I would call tiling displays, but not really. They were putting a foveated small display in front of a bigger display, and even that was not very fun to develop for or get right in some scenarios. Yeah, it's like that, but on steroids. Okay, let me set this stream up. Also, I'm gonna have you guys do an audio check for me before this starts. So, give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I don't hear anything. Why don't I hear anything? Is it actually playing through the... Oh, it's playing... Wait, no, it's not. Oh, it's muted. Okay. Is that good audio? Probably. Let me know, because I've never done audio on this computer. This music is weird. No, this is not their music. This is the music I found. Okay. All right, cool. Cool. That's not their music. That was my music. Sorry. Sorry about that. Do OLED displays make sense for gaming due to the motion blur in Mura? I think micro OLED doesn't micro OLED doesn't actually have Mura. Oh. What? Okay, my headless MacBook actually had my stream running, so I was very confused. Okay. I heard my voice behind me coming from a Mac with no display. What was I asked again? Sorry, what? Totally. Oh yeah. Micro OLED doesn't actually have any of that Mura problem, and they will not have that motion blur problem once they get bright enough. Or companies, instead of prioritizing having a very bright image, just tone it down a little bit. So yeah. Beethoven's early years. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I'm very actually happy with my purchase of Vision Pro. I genuinely use it daily as a just everything. Like my wife never gets to see my real eyes sometimes. Yeah. Also, is this stream starting soon? Where is it? Hello? Where are you? I'm scared that it's gonna be like starting and things will break and then I'll be sad. What's going on? Hold up. I guess I'll just I'll be on their page. Oh, it is starting. Okay, frick. Oh, okay, good. We got it. That is so loud. I'm sorry about that, guys. That was them, not me. Their stream is super loud for some reason. It's so loud. Alright, I will not talk too much during this stream until after the end, so. Unless something really pisses me off.
Welcome to Pimax Frontier.
Wait, what's happening?
With my colleagues and our partners, we'll take you through some big announcements coming from Pimax. Today, we'll not just have one, but several new products to announce. Actually, the whole presentation is filled with new releases right until the end. Let's look back for a moment. The Pimax Crystal is the first VR
I'll make it louder, sorry.
The third generation of Pimax products. Each Pimax headset has been innovative in its own way, starting with the 4K in 2015, followed by the 5K and the 8K. The Crystal has been received really well and is used by designers, flight and racing simmers, commercial pilots, and VR enthusiasts all around the world. Let's hear from some VR industry experts.
Hi, I'm Alan Truly, a freelancer covering VR for Digital Trends and Mixed. I'd recommend the Pimax Crystal to anyone looking for the sharpest consumer VR headset available for Windows PCs.
This is Michel from Overtake.gg, and the Pimax Crystal, with its clarity and FOV, really takes sim racing to the next level.
Hello everyone, it's Skill here from the Grim Reapers, and I think with its image quality and its versatility, the Pimax Crystal is the best VR headset currently available for PC flight simming.
Hi, my name's Callum from FS Elite, and if you're into flight sims, then the Pimax Crystal is a great VR headset for you to use. In our review, we said it had great specs, we had amazing visuals, amazing sound, and really high clarity and a great field of view.
Where is the gun?
Hey, I'm Dan Suzuki. I cover racing simulations, and the Crystal's
Pointed
clarity
to
and
their
resolution
head.
is so high
Just
that
kidding.
it can rival triple screens.
Hey everyone, Wags here from Eagle Dynamics. In 2024, the Pimax Crystal is my headset of VR flying for DCS. Thanks to its great resolution inside and outside the cockpit, and also its great performance
what pit?
thanks to
Chat.
DCS
The
supported
what pit?
foveated rendering.
What?
The Crystal is the first VR headset to use aspheric glass lenses, allowing for incredible clarity never seen before. This got us numerous nominations and awards, including the 2024 CES
My Mom
Innovation
pit?
Award. Glass lenses
No,
are a
that
bit
pit is
harder to make,
too
and a
wide.
bit heavier
No
in
one
weight,
wants that pit.
but the benefits are huge. The resolving power is just much higher with glass lenses. That means the ability to differentiate two lines in an object. In VR terms, that refers to a much higher clarity. Not just that, but the eye box of aspheric glass lenses is bigger compared to plastic lenses. Some call it the sweet spot. Everyone's eye shape is different, and the eyes are also spheres that are constantly moving around, requiring specific optical properties to correct eye movements. Our glass lenses are better adapted to reduce optical distortions, often called pupil swim. Crystal is not a small form factor headset, mainly because we wanted to have
Pupil
more
swim
room
pisses me
to
off.
accommodate options and features.
Stop
The user
putting the
can
text
easily wear
everywhere.
glasses inside,
God!
and there's space for eye relief. Also, the current design is more comfortable than the soft strap design. And it's a very modular VR headset. It's the basis of our future HMDs, and it's a proven product from which we can add or change features. We're very confident of using
I'm not
Pimax Crystal
disrespecting.
as
I
a
just thought it was funny
foundation.
to have
And
my
we're
head
not
there.
done yet.
Sorry.
A lot of people asked us why we put a Qualcomm XR2 chip, battery and standalone features into the Crystal.
Yeah, everyone
Well,
asked
the
that.
Crystal from the
Actually,
start
that's
has been
true.
designed to be a wireless PC VR headset to take on a challenge. High fidelity at full resolution, low latency, indistinguishable
I'm just gonna be
from
blocking
tethered
text all the
PC VR.
time. I'm not moving my
So let's
face
look at our
anymore.
60D
Sorry.
Airlink.
By the way, this was very smart of them to use this tent on the show floor at CES because
For what?
they had to build a Faraday cage because if you've never been to CES, it's basically impossible to get a good signal. Just too much wireless everywhere. It's terrible. The Pimax Faraday cage. What has gone in there? Nothing comes out.
Internally, we've been testing
That was
the 60D
Palmer.
Airlink
Palmer was
for over
there.
a year now, and we have finalized the hardware. The Airlink set comes with a combined transmitter and receiver, plus a dongle for on the headset. The dongle is extremely light and barely adds any weight. Meanwhile, the combined transmitter and receiver connect
Is it still
through
60
HDMI
hertz?
with your
Because
computer.
I heard that was
It just serves
the
as a display
problem
output for your PC.
with this wireless
The dongle connects with
transceiver
a micro
at
HDMI
CES.
to the headset on the dedicated part and clicks to the headband. There is continuous data transfer at high speed between your PC and the headset. Your headset sends the tracking data and inputs from your controllers to your PC, while your PC creates the visuals and sends them back to the headset. Unlike previous WiGig solutions, you don't need to assemble any parts in your computer, meaning this will also work on laptops. And unlike other solutions before,
They might have made
such as
it
the HTC
not
wireless
60
adapter
hertz
or the
anymore.
Novio for
I
the
don't
Valve
know.
Index or the TP-Cast for the Oculus Rift,
I'm sure they'll tell
our
us,
60D
right?
Airlink is an integrated solution. It's not an afterthought put onto the headset.
Man.
All parts in the headset are designed to work together. So it adds little weight, it's very easy installation, and it uses the headset
They really
integrated
need
battery and chipset.
to cut down
And it
on
just
weight.
looks so much more elegant. We would like to remind you why we really wanted to develop the 60D Airlink module. We can focus on two aspects, the user case and the technical aspect. First, the user case. VR is all about immersion, and having a wire, in some cases,
Good question,
not that
Jose.
ideal. For VR games with a lot of movement, you either need a pulley setup or always think about where you are
I
standing.
have to wonder.
Even turning around is difficult as you may twist or damage the cable.
I would actually assume it's better to
Many
use the
people develop a cable
XR2
sense while in VR, meaning that even though you're immersed in another world,
do
you're
wireless
still thinking about where the cable is in relation to your
than this
real feet.
attachment.
And that sense is always there. And to go untethered means
Because
you can turn around,
I
jump,
think they're using a
dance,
very
walk around
off-the-shelf
freely without having to think
wireless
about the cable.
HDMI thing,
It's not just freedom for your body, but also for your mind. This is really so
and
much
there are
more
limits
immersive.
to it.
Of course, having a wire is not a problem for many VR content, such as movies or seated sims.
I could be wrong
Tethered
though.
and
Like I
wireless
guess
both have benefits, but freedom means the ability to choose. Then there's the technical aspect. We found that many VR gamers today use standard Wi-Fi protocols to play PC.
yeah, I know.
VR
I know.
games.
WiGig is
But this approach
better
loses much of the benefits of PC VR technology.
for this use
Compression
case,
caused by bandwidth
but
limitations affects the visual quality
they're
of
using
PC VR,
WiGig through
and
an
latency
HDMI
diminishes the
standard,
smoothness of the frame rates. Low latency isn't just
and
much
it's very
more immersive
limited,
and
from what I
better for
understand.
interaction with the game. It can also prevent motion sickness. And it's not even so much about the resolution of the
But I guess they
game
can still
or the
do
panels in your VR
compression
headset.
on the
But
computer
compression, artifacts,
beforehand.
and latency caused by limited bandwidth when using standard
I just don't know.
Wi-Fi
I don't
data transfer.
know. I'll let them talk.
Obviously, the
Sorry.
whole goal is to have the same visual experience as using a wire. And for wireless, that just means high resolution, high refresh rates, minimal compression required, no compression artifacts,
Like,
low latency.
They're explaining
no
the
glitches, and a
benefits of
stable connection.
60
And
gigahertz,
all
which
of
is
this requires
true.
high bandwidth. Even if you use Wi-Fi 6E, the fastest form
This
of
is all
Wi-Fi
true what they're
available
saying.
for VR headsets now, and you optimize it perfectly, well then
But-
still the bandwidth is so limited that the visuals you receive in your headset are heavily compressed, regardless of how high your rendered resolution is.
If there's
Not
anything I've
only
learned
that,
from
many people
companies like
experience
Pimax,
noticeable
and not even just
latency that can
Pimax, honestly a lot of
significantly undermine
companies in
your gaming
XR,
experience.
it's not what they don't,
WiGig
it's not what they
technology is
do
different from
say,
Wi-Fi 6E
it's what they
because it
don't say,
transmits
right?
on the 60 gigahertz frequency, while Wi-Fi uses 2.4, 5, or 6 gigahertz.
And that's why I don't even like going
These are
to
commonly
stuff like
used
CES
frequencies full
anymore.
of
It's
signal
because
interference from loads of other devices.
they never tell you.
The 60 gigahertz frequency
They always
isn't
tell you
just
the
much
same
faster,
thing, and they won't go
it
off
has
of
no
the
signal
script,
congestion.
right?
Even more because we're creating a dedicated network specifically for your computer with the headset.
No,
This means
these are
there's minimal
60
signal interference and a
gigahertz,
much
as in like
bigger
the
bandwidth.
wireless standard.
We can carry much more information.
I'm talking about like the actual refresh
So
rate
what can we
that
say
the
about the
displays can
Airlink
run
then?
at.
It supports the full resolution of the
Yeah,
Pimax
CS is
Crystal at
basically a sales
2880 by
platform, and
2880 per eye, and it does so at
Even
90 Hz refresh rate.
Some better shows
It
are
has ultra low
still
latency,
kind of like that.
and the expected battery life is 2 to 3 hours. This is
Full
the best
resolution?
solution for untethered
Actually?
PCVR right now. We're ready for you to make a reservation as we're shipping to
How much does it
customers
cost?
in Q3 this year.
They said 90
We've also
hertz.
set the price, plus a Crystal plus Airlink bundle will be available, and will provide current Crystal users with a discount.
If it actually runs like that,
And we're not done yet. The Crystal still provides
Still
the
doubt
highest
it runs
pixel per degree for consumer VR out there.
yeah, it's not bad if
The
it
Crystal
works.
is our first headset that can reach VR 3.0 standard.
I still think
This is a standard we
they
shared
probably are
before.
doing
For us,
compression
that's visuals
to
bordering
get to
human
that,
vision.
even with the HDMI
More ways to
WiGig
interact with
standard.
VR and
Very
the freedom
likely.
to choose
Very, very
how you
likely,
wish
yeah.
to enjoy
I don't know, I could be
VR.
wrong.
In our roadmap going forward with new products, we always
VR
stay true to
3.0.
those values. Since the Crystal has been shipped to users around the world for various use cases, we have collected a lot of
Please,
feedback.
please
and
announce
suggestions.
VR
And we made
4.0.
numerous
I'm sick
software
of being in
improvements
3.0.
and optimizations based
We
on
need
your input.
4.0.
Now we know what you want. A true next-gen flagship headset
4.0,
even
please.
higher pixel count, a wider field of view, and a greater focus
What is
on
3.0?
PC VR in particular.
I don't know.
Higher clarity, greater realism, and a more immersive experience.
So this is the new headset they're
You may
announcing,
see where
right?
this is going. At the same time, we also gain experience from previous VR headsets, not just developing the hardware and software, but all facets of conducting ourselves as a company.
It's a
And we
pretty
want
clean
to give
show.
our
Like I
users
actually do think these events are very
flexibility as we
cleanly
always
made,
done that.
right?
The Crystal can be used with lighthouse tracking as well as
They're way
inside-out
better than the
tracking,
HTC
purchased with
keynotes.
or without controllers or with hand tracking module. It has also 3 different lens options and dozens of
VR
settings in the
3.5.
Pimax Play software. Today, we go even further. Built on the magnesium exoskeleton,
Oh, no.
we developed a headset based on the Crystal current technology that takes the key specs even further. You can call it Super.
Ah, yes, the Crystal Super. Or the Super Crystal. That is a 3D render. Yes. Okay. Did I go to Full Sail University? No. Wow. That's almost as much as
These
Apple.
are the panels. The Crystal Super uses the latest QLED panel technology with a total amount of 29.5 million pixels. That's way more than the Crystal and even more than the Apple Vision Pro.
Wait. Oh, that is more than Vision.
That
Sorry,
translates
I was thinking
to a
something else.
resolution of
My bad.
3840 times 3840 pixels per eye. We love QLED
So they're using the
technology
same
for
panels as the
fantastic
Vario
color range it
XR4, it
provides.
looks like.
And thanks to our aspheric glass lenses, combined with the panel's brightness of 200 nits, the colors are now even more vibrant.
big boy display.
With the aspheric glass lenses, nearly all of the brightness
They haven't
and
built
the
it yet,
colors
that's true.
will reach your eyes.
They have
The
sourced
panels are made of
the
several
panels
layers,
for the
more than we show here.
XR4.
One of the downsides of conventional LCD and QLED panels is that the whole panel is backlit, which means that areas that should be black appears as dark gray. That's why our QLED panels has a mini LED back panel with 912 zones per eye that can turn off and on individually.
Yeah, if they're using
The
a
amount
bigger
of local dimming
panel,
zone have increased by 58%
they'll probably use bigger lenses,
compared
right?
to the panels of the Crystal.
To get a
for
bigger
instance,
FOV.
if you're racing
That's where
or
this is
flying
going,
VR
right?
At night, the local dimming makes your environment look realistically dark and
That means it'll
convincing.
be heavier.
The Crystal Super uses next-generation aspheric glass lenses, and they're beautiful. Compared to the Crystal Optics, the
Oh my
surface of
god,
the
this
new
thing's gonna be
glass
so
lenses is
heavy.
30% bigger, and it also provides a significantly bigger field of view.
Oh
Not
no,
just
that's
that,
cool.
the
That's good
Crystal
for people.
Super also has interchangeable lenses. We're calling it Interchangeable Lenses 2.0. An additional vertical protection layer has been added for double protection against dust coming into the lens barrel. The tilted protection layer remains, as it's also used for eye tracking. The default Crystal Super lenses provide a super wide field of view at an image quality of 50 ppd or pixels per degree. Then we also have additional lenses with even higher fidelity and greater sharpness at 57
Wait,
ppd.
Are
at the
those
cost
just the
of some
Crystal
field
normal
of view.
lenses, but
The Crystal Super also comes with eye tracking. One of the
They wouldn't do
benefits
that.
of eye tracking is that it enables auto IPD that automatically adjusts the correct lens position
they
for
wouldn't
your
just like
eyes.
try to fit the
Another
Crystal's normal
benefit is
lenses as an
dynamic foveated
attachment,
rendering,
right?
which can give up
But like
to 50%
shape them to fit in the
frame rate
housing,
boost in
right?
certain games.
Nah.
If you are wondering how your computer can render VR games with high graphic settings and native resolution,
I mean,
of
it kind of makes
2840
sense
times
as a product for them
3840
to do
pixels
this.
per
Like,
eye, while maintaining the high frame rate, well,
it kind of
this
like
is how.
obviously the
Pimax
displays are
Crystal
available.
Super is a
Vario
PCVR-only headset
uses them.
and does not have a battery for wireless
This product can
connection.
actually exist.
The power supply
Let's
is
leave it at that.
provided
This
through
product
the
can actually
DisplayPort
exist,
cable.
unlike the
The
12K
headset has 4
headset
external cameras
right now.
dedicated for inside-out tracking that tracks 6 degrees of freedom head movements as well as controllers. So you don't need to buy external base stations for tracking, which helps save on expenses
But they say no
as well
battery?
as the hassle of installing
Huh?
base stations.
Did I miss it?
Like the Crystal, the new Crystal Super has a replaceable
Okay.
front cover.
Yeah.
So if you want to use the Lighthouse base stations for tracking of the headset and compatible Lighthouse controllers, you can do so with an optional Lighthouse faceplate. We're still working on the mixed reality mode for full color pass-through using built-in cameras for the MR cover accessory.
But mobile
The
chip would
Crystal
run those
Super
screens?
can also use it when it's out. In fact, we were in an advanced development stage, but we ended up increasing our technical requirements since we first announced it, mainly to increase the
I mean,
pass-through
technically,
image
they
quality
could-
and resolution.
current mobile chips could
especially since
pass
the Apple
through
Vision Pro came out.
the display data for those
Now,
screens
let's look at the field
certain
of view.
refresh rates.
While the PPD or pixel per
but
degree of Crystal Super is much higher than before,
It's not
the
really worth
maximum
it,
field of view has
obviously.
also been increased by a large margin compared to the Pimax Crystal, even when used with its wide
So
field of view lenses.
big lenses, big displays. The
majority of
displays, if
today's
they're really,
PCVR
I'm
headsets
very
have
very
around
sure they are the
100
same as the
degrees of
XR4.
horizontal field of view,
3.5
while
inch
premium
diagonal
enterprise
displays.
headsets offer
Same size
around
displays as the
120
Index, by
degrees
the
of
way.
horizontal field of view. With the default lenses of the Pimax Crystal Super,
I wanna move
we
my
surpassed
face.
that. The same applies
Oh.
for vertical field of view, which is now significantly improved. In terms of the pixel per degree amount, using the default lenses of Crystal Super, we are achieving approximately 50 ppd. If you want even higher clarity, you can swap to optional lenses that can achieve 57 ppd. That level of pixel density is very close to human vision, which normally is rated around 60 ppd. So the Crystal Super is super in field of view.
Yeah, I never
PPD,
trust the
and
FOV
weight.
numbers from
But
Pimax.
what will it cost? We have designed this headset to have
I think they
or even
use some
surpass
weird
enterprise performance
tool.
specifications tailored
Probably some
for
internal
VR
tool that no one else
enthusiasts and
uses.
prosumers around the world who want
I mean, it
the
will have a
best
bigger
high-end
FOV
PCVR
than the
headset
Crystal for
at
sure.
a
That's just
reasonable
kind of the way
price.
physics work.
And we'll be selling the Crystal Super for $17.99 US. So there it lines up. Pretty nice, isn't it? This price includes a pair of 6-degree freedom controllers, which have multiple triggers, analog joysticks, several buttons, an infrared tracking
Dude,
ring,
there'll
and
be
haptic
people that buy
feedback.
this.
But that's
Again,
not
I still think
everything.
this kind of
At
headset
Pimax,
is
we always want to go where no one has gone before.
just a
So
simmer
there's
headset.
one more thing. We spoke about QLED panels.
Oh, no.
But what about OLED? Or
Oh,
micro
no,
OLED?
no, no,
A lot
no.
of people saw the
Oh,
Apple
no.
Vision Pro and wondered if Pimax would ever develop a micro OLED headset, especially with glass lenses. The Apple Vision Pro has great features and clarity, but it isn't a PC VR headset. And it's a bit sad that such a great VR headset cannot be used natively for all those great PC VR games and simulators.
True.
We have listened to your feedback and obviously considered this. Let's first look at the differences, starting with the micro OLED advantages.
Oh, what did they
Micro
do?
OLED has
Wait.
high pixel density, even though there's
If they're
no spindle
trashing,
effect on the crystal
if they're gonna
QLED
trash my
panels,
favorite
the pixel
display
density of the
technology,
micro OLED panel is
they
even
are
higher.
they're not gonna do this, right?
Furthermore,
They're not
when
gonna
it
do
comes
that. They're
to
not.
the
No.
contrast of
No. No.
black
No.
levels, micro OLED pixels can be turned completely off individually, meaning pixels can be true black down to the individual pixel. And even though our QLED panel have 912 local dimming zones per eye, which also provides true blacks, micro OLED panels do take the edge regarding
The
blacks and
Pimax
contrast
Crystal
ratios.
Ti.
Now let's look at the micro OLED disadvantages. Micro OLED technology is still relatively new and expensive to manufacture.
Local
with
dimming
low
does
yield,
not
making
look
these
good in
displays
VR headsets,
pricier
to be
and with
honest.
limited supply. Micro OLED panels are very small,
Not
and due
that
to the
good.
manufacturing equipment, the screen cannot exceed 1.5
That's how I feel, at least,
inches,
like, yeah.
so the field of view cannot be that large. Micro OLED panels
yes,
are very
those are
bright,
true.
but
This is
usually
correct.
they're matched with the resin pancake lenses. So the amount of light that actually reaches the user's eye is very
Okay,
low.
you are.
How about
okay.
QLED panel advantages then?
Okay.
QLED is currently the most advanced screen technology for VR. Except for the contrast ratio, which is lower than micro OLED, all the other specs are better with QLED. So yeah, QLED offers excellent color accuracy and a much wider color range, producing a more vibrant and realistic VR experience. They're also very bright when coupled with a spheric glass
Higher
lens.
pixel density in
QLED
QLED
panels are
compared to
physically
micro
bigger,
OLED.
which is in fact an advantage because it gives us room to achieve a wider field of view. Lastly, they're more affordable. So what panel technology should we really use? There is clearly no winner here. Both panel technologies have different benefits depending
Yeah,
on
if you want a
use
big
case.
thing on your
We
head,
also
then
often
it's a good
discuss
idea to
this
use
internally,
3.5
and we
inch
found out that
panels with
maybe,
giant glass spheric lenses that add
it's
probably
best to let you decide
100
this
grams
for yourself.
to your head.
But how to do that then?
It's a pretty good advantage.
Putting
but,
micro
yeah.
OLED displays in a PC VR headset with glass lenses is a reasonable option. But we don't want you to buy two separate headsets for different
Oh
use cases.
no, what are they doing?
It's a
No,
valuable waste,
wait,
not
no,
just for your wallet,
please.
but also
Oh
for the
no.
environment.
Oh
We cannot put them
no.
together.
Are they gonna sell
Can we?
freaking...
Well, our solution is this.
Okay. Are they actually tiling micro OLED displays in a housing they're supposed to put into something? Oh no. I mean, it might genuinely be better to do it this way, actually, than the other way. Okay, no, that throws it out the window. Wait, this might actually be... Wait. So they're selling, like... Why don't... I want to know more about the interesting thing, not this other stuff. Huh. Not gonna lie, I actually like this method more than the replace your lens only method. But I still don't think it's going to work well. It's actually like an inch. Huh. This is actually kind of interesting. I don't know if it's gonna work well though.
Did you see that? I am happy to tell you that the Pimax R&D team has been working hard to create
here's the reason why I don't like the
optical engine
switching.
head-mounted display patented by Pimax. The purpose
You can't do
of this modular
calibration
design is
on the
to
entire
allow
display
great
with
user
lens housing
flexibility and options.
at the factory,
You can both
right?
get the micro OLED and QLED version of the Crystal
But if you sell
Super
this,
and easily swap between
and it just like
them
kind of slots
by
in and kind of
quickly
has the
replacing
information.
an optical engine, which is a
The tracking part of the
single
housing gives the
detachable module.
tracking calibration
The
to
optical
the
engine refers
displays
to both the
and back
panel
and forth
and the
for the
lenses.
visual
so let's say
calibration.
you want to watch a movie. You
kind of
plug in
interesting.
the micro OLED module for the highest possible clarity and black levels. But when you go sim racing and you need more field of view, you simply swap back to the Crystal Super QLED module. So
here's the
what's
problem,
up with
though.
that? Has Pimax gone crazy inventing this? Maybe not so much. There are several reasons for this approach. This
Pimax
saves
is
you
not
money
big
because
enough
you
as a
don't need
company to
buy
support
two
something
separate
like this, I
headsets.
feel.
VR enthusiasts do have a hard time choosing.
Like at all.
In fact, many of you own more than 10 VR headsets. It gives a longer life cycle for product owners, and it's better for the environment. It comes with virtually no extra cost or downsides. Also, we already know users love
It's an interesting
multi
concept.
headsets. And this allows for additional feature add-ons and optional modules.
It's basically your
Additionally,
lenses and
this
displays are a
ensures cheaper
VHS
and
tape
easier
that you put
repairs
into your
and replacement
face-worn
of parts.
VCR.
Now let's look at our micro
But yeah,
OLED panel.
I don't think
It's
this
super
is,
high res, has a response time of microseconds, high definition, high refresh rate, high contrast,
think-
and the panels are thin and light. Each pixel can turn on and off individually, so the black parts of the image turns completely black down to
very
the
high risk.
individual pixel. And all this is specifically made with PCVR in mind. The pixel pitch, or rather the distance between dots on the display, is also really small, allowing for very high
Oh, it
pixel
just says size
density.
comparison.
Even though QLED version of Pimax Crystal Super and the Pimax Crystal have no visible screen door effect, the PPD on the Crystal Super Micro OLED is even higher.
Wait.
Pixels and colors neatly
I'm
blend
confused.
into each other, bordering human vision. We use glass pancake lenses on the micro OLED optical engine. In fact, Pimax is
I'm
the
so
only
confused
VR
right now. What
manufacturer
happened? What did I
using
miss?
glass lenses. Our unique lens design has multiple benefits, mainly bigger field of view than conventional pancake lenses. Since we
Glass
use
pancake
glass
lenses is not that
we do
crazy,
minimize
actually.
and sometimes even completely
You would
eliminate
ideally
a lot
want
of
pancake-
optical
or, I mean,
issues
plastic.
and difficulties. No more reflections,
But-
no God rays. Glass lenses have zero glare.
Yeah.
There's no tunnel vision. They allow for a bigger eye box or sweet spot. They have a
you
high
kinda want-
resolving power and high light
When you're going for
transmittance,
smaller
meaning higher
and thinner,
brightness
you
for
kind of
the
want
user.
lighter too.
Lastly, glass lenses have increased hardness, higher durability, and more corrosion-resistant material. This headset is made for PCVR, so you're likely using it with your computer.
I'm very
Portability
torn
and
on the
form factors are
concept
not
that
key
they're introducing here.
priorities
I
for
just
us,
don't think-
while comfort and
I
visual
don't think it's like
quality are.
necessarily
It's
a
the
bad
first
idea.
micro
I just
OLED
think you have to be a
headset with glass
very
lenses
large
for
company
extreme
to support
clarity,
a
big
concept like
sweet
that.
spot, no glare, no ghosting, with high brightness and a bigger field of view
And
than any
Pimax is not a
other
very large
headset
company.
with pancake
Like,
lenses.
sure, they're
Crystal Super
They've got
is bigger than
okay
some other
financial
micro
backing,
OLED headsets,
but
although we have reduced weight, and
there's
for
so
us,
many.
that's more
I-
important.
okay, let's
than
put it this way. I don't
reducing
think
size.
Pimax has proved,
We
even
make
with their
zero
glass or their
compromises on
lens
visual
replacement
quality this
system,
way. The
that they're a
headset
company
strap
that
is
can
rigid
scale
made
something
for
like this
comfort and counterweight, not
enough
for
to be useful for
portability or
consumers
travel.
or
Our design
prosumers
has
even.
no overheating issues and does not need additional fans or active cooling. We also have packed other great features such as integrated high-quality audio and inside-out tracking, so you don't need to use base stations. Also, the Crystal Super Micro
If your
OLED can
optical
run
design is good
native
enough and your
resolution with
manufacturing partner is
maximum
good enough,
possible
plastic
refresh rate.
lenses can do a lot of
Finally,
stuff
you
glass
can change
do.
the light on the front cover. Here we show green light for QLED and blue light for Micro OLED. But you can
There's
also
so many
change the
factors
light
to it.
color manually within the Pimax Play software. So that's the
Like,
Crystal Super
Quest
with
Pro
our
lenses
most
are plastic.
advanced technology. The world's
great,
first
right?
patented interchangeable
Apple Vision
optical
Pro
engine
lenses are
for
plastic.
a VR headset.
They're
It's
very good.
available with QLED and micro-OLED displays, integrated audio, 2 microphones, and both versions have glass lenses. The Crystal Super pushes the boundaries of what is possible in a VR
Did they
headset.
introduce him as
The QLED
Survivor?
version
I
is
actually
available
don't
for
know. I don't think they did. I
$17.99
think they just
and you can
maybe
buy
put his
the
name.
micro OLED version for $19.99
Huh?
That's for the headset, including controllers and the optical engine. But you can also buy the full bundle, which is one headset and both optical
I might
engines
actually-
for $23.99 That
I wanna
sounds
review
like
this.
a great deal to me.
I actually want to review this. This might be the most interesting thing. This is something I wanted. Ooh,
Pimax Crystal owners a $399 discount when they order.
I don't think I've
any
ever
of the
wanted to
3
review
Crystal
a
Super
Pimax
options.
product as much as I want to review this.
And you
Actually,
can reserve your Crystal Super already now.
I'm very curious,
So we have the Crystal that is soon going
but I don't want to
wireless.
put my
Then
money
we have
down.
developed the Crystal Super to achieve an even higher
It's,
resolution, higher clarity, and bigger FOV for tethered PC VR.
Go top
But
right,
where
but then
else
I'll
can
cover
we go?
the.
Crystal's magnesium exoskeleton and everything we've learned from it serves as a fantastic foundation. And we can do so much more with this. We can remove functions and make it lighter.
Because these are the kind
So
of
many
things that
PC
are
VR
actually
gamers
very
out there
interesting.
are using the Pimax Crystal. And not all
It's
of
a
them
very
show up
interesting
in Steam VR
concept.
survey statistics.
I see the
People
benefits that
playing
can happen from it
iRacing,
over time,
Microsoft
long
Flight
term.
Simulator or DCS, they often skip Steam VR altogether and run their
But I
simulations
feel
or
like
games through open
even if I got
XR
the
runtime,
first
which
wave,
adds
here's the
extra
problem with
performance
Pimax.
and
I feel like
unique
if I got the
features.
first wave of this product,
Still, we want to make the Crystal
and I
and
bought the
its
full
clarity
swap
available
in,
to
swap
more
out thing,
PC VR gamers. We're thinking about Quest 2
it's probably not
users,
going to work well.
HP Reverb G2,
And I'll make a
with the
video,
Valve Index. If they consider a headset upgrade, where do they go to?
and
Many
they'll literally
headsets that
change
were previously
a million
available to them
things
have been
within a few months
discontinued.
after I make the video, and then I'll be
Therefore,
like,
we decided
off
we want to
that I
provide the ultimate VR
really
headset
adopted it.
for everyone. And for us, that's 4 main criteria. Low cost, great clarity with a super high pixel amount, good FOV, and a straightforward
and
PC VR headset. There we
again,
go.
even though it's a cool concept, I'm kind of saying I want it. I would again always proceed with caution when it comes to pre-ordering Pimax stuff, because it's better to be a late adopter of Pimax products than it is to be an early adopter of Pimax products. Like every headset, I think. Usually modular products fail, and that's kind of why I'm very like the nerd in me that likes this kind of concept is like screaming that this is cool, but the person that like realizes how much calibration goes into every VR headset that you put on your face at the factory
So there you have it.
to make sure the experience is
Pimax
not
Crystal
terrible
Lite.
is also
A
screaming in my
fantastic
brain
PC
that
VR headset, accessible to
they
the
shouldn't
mainstream
do it.
PC VR user.
Pimax should
It's
especially not
affordable,
do it.
and we'll get to the price. It comes with high-end technology
Um,
that surpasses the mainstream level of clarity.
What is this? Is this another one?
Our goal is always to push boundaries in VR. That often means bigger FOV, better lenses, higher refresh rates, higher pixel count, and new features. But this time, we've taken
See,
the approach
okay,
into
this is what I'm
another
talking
direction.
about. This
A
is what I'm
lower
talking
price.
about.
Pimax Crystal Lite is available starting at a pretty low price. It's a pure PCVR headset and a simplified user experience. All the core functions needed are
okay,
there.
this is what I'm talking
We've
about.
reduced
Like-
the weight by 30% compared to the Pimax Crystal. The ergonomics have also been optimized with the adjustment of the headband, the improvement of the rear foam, and the reduction of weight.
The problem is a company like, dude, even Meta,
We
giant
still
company,
use the same
spends
glass lenses
tons of
as on the
money
Pimax Crystal
on
with a
hardware,
pixel
releasing a
density
new
of
headset every
35
year.
dpi, but they're not
They sometimes
interchangeable on the
suffer
Pimax Crystal Lite.
from spanning,
Pimax
stretching
Crystal
out
Lite needs
their
no
teams
battery, as
too
power
thin
is supplied
to
through the
support each
DisplayPort
product,
cable.
right?
The headset and
And when I see
controllers are tracked with
Pimax
built-in 6 degrees of freedom
Announced
inside-out
3
tracking,
products
so you don't
today,
need to buy any base station.
basically,
However,
while
if you
also
do want to
still
use a
not,
different method
I
of
would say,
tracking, you can swap
actually
on the
4
Lite
products if you
faceplate
include the
and use
wireless
base stations,
dongle,
as well as base
and also
station
doing
controllers, such as the Pimax Sword.
still kind of supporting the Pimax Crystal
Again, we want
regular
to bring
edition.
high-end VR to as many
really
people
hard.
as possible.
It's really hard
We
for
know that
a
not
small
everybody
company
has
to do
a
that.
super high-end PC and a graphics card. So we're doing 3 things to improve the performance.
All right?
The first is fixed foveated rendering 2.0 in Pimax Play. We have to use fixed foveated because the crystal light has no eye tracking to save on cost.
So is this
With
eye
fixed
tracking built
foveated
in?
rendering, we can still
Or
get
it's only
huge performance
fixed?
gains.
Okay.
It's quite easy to get used to, and the experience is very similar. When running games with fixed foveated rendering enabled, the center part of your view renders full resolution,
And then they also
while
announced
peripheral
the
vision renders
Portal,
slightly lower fidelity. You
which
barely
also
notice
spread
this.
their
This
teams
approach can
very
give you 10
thin
to
to
30%
support a
frame rate
product
boost.
barely
Fixed
for a short
foveated
period of
rendering
time.
2.0 will be available for Crystal Light.
This company's
inside
just
our
too
Pimax Play software,
unpredictable
including customization options.
to feel like
Secondly,
they can
we will
support
offer
something as
upscaling.
complex
If you have
as
a high-end
slot
or
in this
mid-range
entire
GPU,
optics
you can
display
run most
housing into
games
your
at native
headset and it will
resolution.
totally
But with a
work
low-end
day one.
GPU such as the RTX
They're
2060,
just a
you can
bit
choose to run the
too
Crystal
unstable.
Light
I
at
actually
a
applaud them
resolution of
though for
2160
trying to
by
do this.
2160
Like
pixels
I
per
actually,
eye,
again, I do
which
like
is
the
the
concept
resolution of
more than
HD
just
Reverb T2,
unscrewing
but then upscaled
lenses
to
and
2880
getting
by
dust
2880.
in the housing. Like this
Even if
actually
you run a
makes
game at a lower
more sense
resolution,
from
you
that
still
sort of
benefit
way,
from
but
Crystal's
still
Light's super high resolution panels because of the high pixel
very
density and the lack of any screen door effect.
alert.
And the colors are just so good. Thirdly, Pimax
Maybe
Play
they want
has
to see what
several
product
refresh
people want the
rate
most and then
options such
focus
as
on that
60,
one.
72,
Yes,
90,
but that's
and
very
120
expensive.
hertz.
That is very
You can also
expensive
set
to
a frame rate
do.
lock so that the frame rate
Very
stays
expensive
stable
to
and
do.
smooth.
That's Meta can do that.
Lastly,
Meta
the
does that.
Crystal Light also
100%
comes
Meta
with
does that.
controllers that pack 6
But the
degrees
thing
of
is, they
freedom
have
tracking
billions of
with triggers,
dollars,
joysticks,
burning
several
billions of
buttons,
dollars
as well as
just to
haptic
do that,
feedback.
and they can do that because they make so
the
much money
Crystal
on
Light comes in
ads.
two
They're
versions,
not
one without
reliant
local
on that
dimming and one
business.
with local dimming.
But
for a
Pimax
slightly
does
higher
not
price.
have
Both
the
have
resources
glass
to do
lenses
something
and
like
both run
that.
at a
I would
native
argue.
resolution of 2880 by 2880 pixels per eye, unless you use its optional
But
upscaling. It has multiple refresh rate options from 60
if this
to
thing is
120
real,
hertz.
this might actually be worth
There's
it for a ton of
upscaling
people.
technology,
Like,
as well as support for fixed
this
foveated
Pimax
rendering
Lite?
2.0.
it must be
Crystal Light brings the
subsidized. Like
core
this
experience of
looks
the
like
Crystal
a
at
very
much more
subsidized
affordable price,
headset.
as well as a
So
lighter package. The Crystal still has benefits in that it has eye tracking and it's compatible with the 60T Airlink.
still
for
no
wireless
eye
PCVR,
tracking.
as well as standalone features.
Yeah,
You can pre-order the
Tobii
Pimax Crystal Light
license
now. We
definitely
expect
adds to
ship
the
first
cost.
batch at the end of May 2024.
Yeah, that
As
actually
you
does
know,
suck for
we're
simmers
never
who I
done.
think especially would be
We want
interested
to
in that
go where
headset,
no
and
one has
like
gone
simmers
before.
run at extreme
We push
resolutions,
technological
and
boundaries in VR.
simulators actually do
Pimax is
support
a
foveated
R&D
rendering,
company
most
at
of them,
heart.
the big ones at least.
Pimax team is
So that is kind of a bummer, but
composed of
I think if you're really that
top-class
serious into
engineers
simming, you would
and
probably just go for
scientists
the other.
who are passionate
who's the Lite
about
for,
VR
actually?
technology. And we are
Yeah, I think the
always
Lite is
working on
there
new
to replace
innovation for VR.
Reverb G2 owners. I
As
think that makes
mentioned
some
before,
sense.
We are working on the MR
Yeah.
cover with full color pass-through.
There's
and
so many
mixed
products being
variety
announced.
features.
Again, this kind of
We
goes what I was
try
talking
out
about earlier.
different options
There's
for
too much
future controllers. The 12K
There's too much
is
products for
also
them to
still
support at
under
once.
development and will release
12K is still
an
under
update
development.
on the blog soon.
For now, this is our
Okay.
lineup. Crystal Super is our new flagship headset for tethered
No,
high-end
I do
PC
actually want to
users.
like review the Super
And the
though.
Crystal Light is the crystal experience
I don't care about the Lite
more
at
affordable
all.
for a bigger audience. The
I
Crystal
don't care
with
about
the
the-
60G Airlink
I don't really
module
care about the
is
wireless
best option
dongle
for
either.
wireless VR, and we're convinced that this will remain the best-in-class solution for the next upcoming years.
But the
Wireless
Super, I
PCVR
again
in
only
full
want to.
resolution,
Okay, actually, there's two things I want to
2880
review.
by
I want to see their
2880
optics for the
pixels
micro
at
LED if they
90
actually get this
hertz.
product out.
Only the Crystal will support it. We will continue developing the Crystal in the
And
next coming years.
I
and
wanna
new
see if the-
accessories will
the slot
continue
in
to
thing
come
actually
out for the
works.
Crystal, such as the MR cover. It's also better suited for most GPUs out there.
What happened to the Pimax ponytail guy? He got fired or
flexibility.
something. I don't know. There was a lot of people who I think left
That's
the
it for
company
today. At
last
Pimax,
year or
we're
something.
always innovating for our
But yeah, he's
users
gone.
to use the latest technology to bring the highest fidelity
$300
in
for
VR
wireless?
or XR as you have it
Yeah.
to VR users around the world. Thank you for your support.
Why are you out of my
and
AVP?
Please stay with us on this journey.
I
together.
wanted to wear. Okay, I don't want to force you guys to look at my persona, to be honest. I don't think personas are. I don't think my personas are awesome when they're in the spatial persona form. I actually like personas, but like in the flat window form, I think the personas look pretty rough still. So, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. That was a lot That was a lot all at once. Okay. Let's count the products because I'm actually so lost. All right, so there's wireless dongle, which was already a pre-announced product. They're just actually launching it, I guess, now for real. So that's one kind of. Pimax Crystal Super, but it comes in 2 varieties because you can slot in and out the thing. Like, it's kind of like 3 products, right? Pimax Crystal Light and an MR cover. Did they? Yeah, I think so. 5 products that they need to start support not only the hardware but the software for. It's gonna be very hard. Again, I'm actually really fascinated by the Supers idea, but I just don't think they can. I want them to prove me wrong, but I don't think they're a company that can pull this off. Again, not because of them being them, as just who, like, I'm not saying their engineers are bad or anything, but I think there's a huge scaling and support problem with something like this that just doesn't make sense to me. Because, like, I can't imagine Pimax actually sells thousands even. Maybe. I doubt they sell a ton of headsets, right? And when you split your market up, you're already kind of niche market up this many ways. I just can't make sense in my brain. It's too much at once. Exactly. Yeah, exactly what Ruse said. It's too much. It's too much. But I do want to see it, but I don't think I will because I don't think I'm confident enough to put money down on it right now. There's too many other things coming. I feel more comfortable giving my money for. So Pimax is supported by Chinese government. They don't need to sell a lot. They just need to exist. Right. That's kind of true, actually. Like. I mean, that's a very standardized thing to say about Pimax, but they are, as far as I know, they do actually have a lot of local government support in China. But still, that doesn't translate to, oh my God, this company has a lot of money, therefore the consumer experience will be good, right? And I'm not saying it's a trap or anything. It's just, again, I just don't. It's a cool idea, but proceed with caution because only big companies, I think, could pull something like that off, and barely. Even a big company can barely pull something like that off, to be honest. That's how I feel about it. So I donate $5 if you buy it. Here's the deal. After someone gets the first, like an actual customer actually gets one sent to the mail, the full kit, and I see them actually get it delivered, then I'll buy one. I'm not going to pre-order one. And I'll review it when that happens. Other than that, it was actually a pretty okay show. I thought it was kind of weird that they kind of talk up QLED or LCD technology in VR, and then right after they're like, oh yeah, we're releasing a micro LED headset. That's pretty funny. But which actually makes me think that that's gonna take a while, that component to release to them. They're probably using BOE. BOE has been working on a 4K per eye micro LED display around that 90 hertz mark, but I've heard there's some problems with that display still and getting it mass produced still from BOE. BOE will figure it out. I'm very confident that they'll figure out micro LED at some point, but they're still not as good as Sony. Yeah. They want my approval. They made it just for you. Shut up. I know they don't need my approval, but like, yeah, it's my take on it. It's interesting concept. Again, I think it's makes more sense than the stupid take off the lenses, get dust inside the lens cups, and then put in a different lens for like almost no benefit, really. Like is there actually any crystal people in the chat right now that have 2 sets of lenses? Because I know they were going to make a high FOV lens or something at one point. I don't know if they ever launched it. I'm not really aware of Pimax stuff, but like, did you actually switch your lenses? Like, actually, did you actually? I don't know. The high FOV lens is bad. So there you go. Like, again, there is benefits to having a single enclosure, everything put together at the factory, and then doing calibration for everything going on in that headset at the factory, all put together. There's benefits to that because there's so many sensors. They're adding more and more sensors to these headsets. These displays and lenses have a lot of different imperfections in each one. So yeah, it's neat. I don't have two lenses, but I do have eye and very cool. Yeah, the crystal light is actually, I think the crystal light actually makes a ton of sense, to be honest, more than anything. Like, the problem I had with the crystal was it had a lot of features in it that just didn't really work when I tried it, right? It was like, it had a lot of stuff in it that didn't make sense, still doesn't make sense, and you're paying all that money for stuff that didn't work, right? But crystal light, other than the fact that it doesn't have eye tracking, like actually makes sense as a product, I would actually argue. Yeah, exactly. As Ruth says, even accelerometers are highly dependent on... Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think this thing's going to work for Pimax very well. Yeah. Am I going to review the light? Personally, no. I'm not. Not because I think it doesn't interest me. The problem is, when I basically self-fund everything I do on this channel, and there are some really expensive headsets coming out in the next year. And I'd rather put my more money toward that than something that's like a cut down crystal, which I already reviewed the crystal. I do agree that cutting some of that stuff out to make a cheaper model of the crystal makes sense as a product, but it doesn't make sense. I feel the same way about the Quest 3. Hold on. Peanut's not used to living in an apartment with other people. Sorry. I'm sorry about the loudness. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's okay, Peanut. It's okay. It's okay. Anyway. As I was saying, I'm not even interested in reviewing the Quest 3 Lite when it comes out this year. I feel quite happy with my Quest 3 review and what that hardware is doing. And I think a cut down model of the Quest 3 also doesn't really interest me, and like will not have anything too different, I would say, to warrant spending my time reviewing it. You just encourage that behavior by rewarding him? Yeah, probably. You're right. Anyway, how far do you think Samsung are with their Peanut? Get over here. Over here. Samsung's pretty far, as far as I know. Okay, if you want to know about what we understand from Samsung, so they're going to have a Sony's. So the biggest news that happened recently regarding the Samsung headset is they actually switched display suppliers. They were hoping to use Samsung display originally, but now they're going to pretty much only use Sony. Same supplier for the Vision Pro's displays, micro OLED displays, and I have a peanut for hanging out my chin. I want that off. Okay. So it's very likely we kind of know what the resolution will be based on that information because they're probably just using the off-the-shelf design that Sony's offering companies that are not Apple. Apple has their own backplane design that they had Sony actually put the OLED on top, but I don't expect Samsung to do that personally, but yeah, that's pretty notable, I would say. I think again they're getting there. I'm more worried about the software, which is why Google having their AR announcements next month at their event will probably be pretty notable. Because I'm not worried about Samsung having bad hardware. I'm more worried about Google not putting in the effort that they need to put in for this. Yeah. Is local dimming worth the extra money? Honestly, in my opinion, no. Because local dimming zones are very limited on LCDs. And when you pair them with optics, that local dimming, that bloom that you get from the displays usually is more noticeable, in my opinion, than actually just having local dimming off, which sucks, but that's just kind of reality. Google Plastic inbound. Google has been really bad recently. That's why I'm really like... The problem is, here's why I think Google will put a little more care into this, is because I think companies like Google get extreme FOMO when Apple does something. Google likes to cancel projects that Apple is not doing. So yeah. Any Deckard OS copium to share? So the biggest thing recently, I've heard that the Valve Index is like completely out of manufacturing now. They're not making any more anymore. Obviously that does not mean that they're just gonna go out of stock, but yeah, they're not making not making new indexes anymore. Which is not too surprising because I think they were also running out of some components to make indexes because they didn't place any orders for like a couple years now. Doesn't mean a new headset's coming, but yeah, index is pretty much... That's pretty much done. SteamVR's most recent beta, 2.5, I think it is. The most notable one I would share is probably the fact that, so you know, Valve added that SteamVR Theater mode to SteamVR. It's that brand new that runs as an overlay. You click a button and then you get like reflections in the SteamVR environment as well, coming off of the playing a game or a desktop window in that theater mode. They seem to be working on allowing stereo rendering from that theater screen, which would be like 3D gaming, like basically playing flat games as 3D. No idea how they plan to do that, or like how they will get developers to support that, or if they'll do something like Proton, but instead of focusing on Windows to Linux, they'll focus on flat to VR somehow. No idea there, but they are including that support natively in the back end of that theater thing. So you're having a hair jail emergency? Yeah. Lighthouse 3.0 in the works. I think it's very likely that Valve will switch to camera tracking mostly, or some sort of camera tracking. Yeah. Answer your super chat? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very bad at this. What happened to the 12K the 12K Ultra Super Max one? Oh man. All they said in this development update is they're still working on it. I'm gonna pull something up real quick. Hold on. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Where is this? Okay. I actually cannot do this. I'm so mad. I'm so mad at myself. I can't do this. Okay, hold on. Yeah. So that didn't really happen, I think. But again, just another reason why you should be kind of whatever. Light mode OMG. Anyway, to answer the rest of your question, Vexner, thank you for $20. What headsets are you looking forward to? Really, it's kind of just the Samsung one. And I guess, so next year, LG is also going to be releasing a headset partnered with Meta. So the way I understand it is basically similar to how Samsung's making hardware and using Google OS on that hardware. LG is making hardware and using Meta Quest OS for that hardware. I'm interested in those two. But more interested in the Samsung one because I think so these headsets are not going to be targeting gaming. Very like obviously not targeting gaming. It doesn't make sense for these headsets at like $2,000 price points to target gaming, VR gaming only. They're going to do the Meta Quest Pro thing. They're going to do the spatial computing thing. And the reason why I'm more excited for the Samsung one is I just think even though Google's operating system is not going to be that fleshed out, it's going to be very new. I think there actually is a late mover's advantage to this concept than compared to Meta, who has to kind of like adapt their operating system to fit that use case. And also having the Google Play Store on the Samsung headset to actually download the flat apps that you would use on an Android phone, just easily at your disposal without any side loading, is very valuable. Even if it's like not that interesting compared to having full native apps built for your platform, it's really useful as a person who is consuming the device and using the device to actually have a bunch of stuff you use daily while the actual software and developer platform catches up. So I'm not sure how Meta and LG are going to position this headset to sell better than the Quest Pro 1 did. I think they're going to struggle again because I just don't... Because the Quest Pro had actually, like, okay, obviously the Quest Pro hardware was not that amazing. Like, the biggest reason that people buy Quest Pro today is because it has eye and face tracking and you can use it for VR chat with eye and face tracking wirelessly. That's kind of all the people are mostly buying Quest Pros. Otherwise, Meta is just giving them out free to random partners that they find off the street, like Roblox devs and stuff. By the way, that Roblox thing, like, do people do that anymore in VR? I'm actually not sure. I don't know. That seemed like it was something that was very loudly praised when it was about to come out on App Lab. Then after it released on App Lab, no one ever talked about it again. Very weird. But okay, even just pretending that the Quest Pro hardware was amazing, Meta never had any software for it that made their use case that they were pushing that enticing for people to use. It was just Horizon Workrooms, and from my understanding is they're actually completely redoing Horizon Workrooms right now. They're doing a bunch of changes to it. So that's pretty bad. I think the biggest thing that Meta needs to do to kind of get more closer to that use case is have way better multitasking on your headset. I do not want to literally open an entire immersive app just to open Microsoft Word. It should be all overlays focused, right? That's what is so magical about the Vision OS more than anything else, other than the great input, is the fact that I can multitask as much as I want. And while there's still some problems with organizing those windows, just the ability to do that is very valuable. So yeah. I'm not replying to that one, Vexner. I think I'm probably biased on who I like at certain companies more than others. So the VR injector. Oh, do you mean the Prey Dog thing? I think it's good. I think it's great that we have it. Yeah. So I think it's cool. That's kind of it. However, yeah, I don't know how much to say about it. I think it's cool. I think it's more interesting. You know what I'm actually interested, if we're going to talk about this, instead of, this might be heresy for some people, but this is something I've kind of been thinking about, because Flat to VR recently created a game studio, right, to help developers, obviously like big developers who don't want and devote resources to porting their games to VR. I thought that was an interesting idea. I hope it works out for them. But some of the stuff I was really thinking about more recently, and the reason why I feel this way is because I play a lot of Dota 2, right? I play a lot of Dota 2 in my spare time when I have time. And obviously I don't have a monitor anymore, so I'm actually playing on my headset with keyboard and mouse. And the things I want from a flat gaming experience in like a spatial computing environment, now that because I have the full multitasking, I can have, oh, I hope am I still good? I hope I'm still good. Yeah, it says I'm still good. So obviously, I can have Discord, I can have Twitter, I can do all the stuff I normally would on like a big wide monitor PC, but in a spatial environment, and have obviously the big, beautiful HDR Dota 2 window in the middle. I would actually be more interested in applying AR elements that interact with the game, or have games be able to serve me AR elements that would make some of the information going on in the game more like interesting. You don't even make everything 3D, but like, I don't know. For example, like the mini map in Dota 2 or League of Legends, whatever. If I can have that like popped out anywhere I want in my space, and the game allows me to do that, that's kind of interesting. Like stuff like that, I think is something I would like to see either tinker with myself or see other people kind of tinker with, rather than just the throw me in a full VR in a game that is not VR. Like, yeah, exactly. That's a much better example. Wolfgang said it very well. Like a Pip-Boy on your arm in AR while you're playing Fallout. So you don't actually have to click pause to see the start menu. You just gotta look at your arm that has the information overlaid. Genius. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That would be, I think, pretty great to kind of bridge the because here's the truth of it. Here's the truth. There are people who will even get sick playing the flat to VR stuff, even if they do a very good job, like, you know, with the movement speeds and like the camera angles and stuff. There will still people that get sick doing that. But having a flat screen, even projected in just like a 3D view, and then have AR elements around them that's related to the game, what's going on in the game, on your arms and stuff, that won't make people sick. It won't. And that it allows you to bridge people to the stuff that might make them sick. Right? Yeah. It didn't work well for Wii U. I would say the Wii U was a marketing problem more than anything, right? And I also think the fact that you have a headset on your face that can project volumes and 3D things stereoscopically is also more interesting than just having a tablet that interacts with the game as well. But it's very similar to that concept that now that you point out. Yeah, very similar to the Wii U, but I think there's something, there might be something there. I may be totally wrong about it, but so kind of like that watch Meta had for a little bit while you could use yeah, exactly. Like, I think that stuff is very interesting. But if game developers could actually serve their own versions of these things to people, I think that's kind of just interesting. So Data Cabot, it worked for any replay. Wait. Sorry, what is root? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Valve did used to have a VR mode for Dota. Yes. It was a spectator experience, and it was actually really ahead of its time. Now that I look back on it, and that completely doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked for like 7 years, but I have recordings of when I tried it back in 2016. It was really cool. It was very, yeah, it's kind of like that because it was very like allowed you to watch what's going on the big screen, and it did have a bunch of elements. Like it had a full table with like the mini map, like a small, I believe it had like a small 3D recreation of what was going on the table. My memory is starting to get pretty bad there, but yeah, that's way ahead of its time. So, do you have something to say about the Lings R1? Appears to be usual Kickstarter scam. I heard they recently started shipping a new batch, very like literally like last week or something. I don't think they were a scam, but I think they ran out of money for a while, which makes things hard. Which again, like hardware is so hard. I would never want to make a headset of my own because the inherent risks that come with doing that. You never know if a big company is going to eat up your supplier or eat up the designer for a component you're using. Like Lynx, the people who made the lenses for Lynx R1, they were a company known as Limbac, and they were literally acquired last year, like around the start of last year, by Apple. Like, you never know as a small player if something like that is going to happen. Luckily, even in that situation, Lynx already had that design like already pushed to a manufacturer, but sometimes you don't get that luxury. Very scary, very scary. Yeah, exactly, Snurt. Yeah, it only requires soft, and that's why it's like so it's not just the fact that I like to replace my hardware displays with software displays just because, wow, I can move them around, I can resize them. But there's gonna be things that interact with that in more novel ways than just having that flat screen. It'll just take time to implement it. I did catch that Disney multi-directional treadmill. It was interesting. It was just interesting, but like for me, I can't really get interested in it because it's never going to become a consumer product. And I'm not even sure how Disney scales that to even be like a park product, like something they put in their parks. It's very cool. Very awesome engineering for that. I think Wildflower on the Apple Arcade version Pro has that sort of flat plus 3D elements you're talking about. I'm going to write that down so I can try that out later. You should see my my Vision Pro's home screen. It is a absolute mess of random apps that it's like 12 pages of random apps, and I very early days. It's literally just like the Vive, like having a bunch of random experiences. But I kind of like it again because I like it because a lot of the experiences people are making, not all of them, but a lot of them are very disconnected from the standards you see in the rest of XR or VR at least. Like I think people coming to develop for Apple Vision for the most part have very different ideas of what they want to do. And it's kind of interesting seeing that in action. Yeah. Oh, VR Crewcast today. Right, that is a thing. I need to prepare for that. Wait. Oh, no, there's no VR Crewcast today. I just found out. All right, they're taking a day off. Okay, so I can chat longer. Is the AVP best option for flat screens for the foreseeable future? So there's not just only the visuals that are pretty good in Vision Pro, but I think the input scheme has really surprised me of how well it actually works. At least for me. I know some people it doesn't work as well, but I think if you have like certain, I don't know how it works, but some people it works better for than others. But I was really kind of surprised how much the looking and click stuff like melds with my brain. Like it's very, very intuitive, and there is a bit of a learning curve, I think, as well. But like once I got past the learning curve, I was like, this is really powerful. But there's some buts with that because I noticed some weird side effects with using it a lot. I feel like I never move my eyes around in like when if I'm like out in public, I would never do this a lot, right? Moving my eyes like a weirdo. I feel like after using Vision Pro for a lot, I'm doing that way more, and I become self-aware of it recently, and it's really weird. But yeah, okay. This stream has been great. I'm glad you enjoy it. How long before a Vision? Oh, did you guys see that tweet I posted? Actually, here, let me show you that. Here. I'm sorry that it's like all weird shaped. Actually, let me fix that before I switch over. For people that want to plug a computer into their brain, okay. Starfish Neuroscience. This is a company who are making minimally invasive BCIs. And you'd be like, well, Brad, I already heard of a company called Neuralink. What's so special about this one? Well, I'm glad you asked because it's the company that Gabe Newell founded to do his BCI work, and he uses Alan Yates to be their hardware engineer. If you don't know who Alan Yates is, he's the genius engineer that developed a lot of stuff for the lighthouse tracking and a lot of other awesome, cool stuff. And yes, the funniest thing about this company is... Where are you? Where is it? Hold on. I'm trying to find the thing that people thought was really funny. I can't find it. Maybe it's here? No? Here? Oh, it's down here. We operate as a flat organization. We don't have manager direct reports. We have colleagues and collaborators. They're literally running the company similar as Valve. It's pretty funny. Gaben really likes his flat organization. And yeah. Valve 2.0. But semi-invasive usually means like... It can mean like literally on the skull or like somewhat in, but not actually puncturing the brain cavity. The brain cavity. Flat is justice. It was very minimally stressful. Thanks, James. Yeah. But yeah. Brain. It was the guy. Yeah. Anyway, sorry if I was not ready to show that, but yeah. Gabe Nowell is doing stuff. And the only reason I brought that up is because they actually recently updated their website. I don't know if they're looking for funding or whatever, but the biggest shocker to the internet when I posted about it is people were shocked about how skinny Gabe Newell has gotten since the last time we seen him. And people were saying, was it Gabe Zempic or something? I don't know. But imagine a Steam Deck on your face, but it's a VR headset. That'd be cool. Imagine, you got this Vision Pro showing people that like playing, man, I could play flat games. I could add IR elements to it, and I could have pass through, and I could do all this other stuff. Imagine that, but like for the entire Steam library local on your headset running in a flat window. Ooh, pretty cool concept. Anyway, yeah, probably looking for new employees. They do not have many employees, so the crew over at... So my stance these days on why you haven't seen much Deckard speculation content for me is because it's gotten to the point where I really don't want to talk about it unless like I have something very valuable and like high confidence on reporting, which again, the only most recent one was the stereo feature for SteamVR Theater. Yeah. Also, they're on their Hawaii vacation they do every year right now. So like we're getting like no SteamVR updates as well currently to data mine notably. Oh, the AI stuff. Wait, actually no, I saw another thing that Samsung showed off at their, I think it was Samsung display booth or something, at CES, I think it was, the private booth, where they were actually allowing you to play VR games on a 3D monitor. They did not go into detail of what that meant, and there was no demos from people that I heard during that, but yeah, they were showing that off, that feature off. Really strange concept. Yeah, exactly, Rue, yeah. I barely want... the truth is, guys, if I actually don't want to make that much YouTube content in general, unless I feel like it's really valuable. And I don't really feel often that a lot of the stuff I don't really feel that way often, which is why I don't make videos like constantly. And in fact, I actually really enjoy live streaming like this because I realize so one problem I run into making videos about like this very niche. So, okay, XR is already a very niche industry to make YouTube videos for, but I would say it's like a niche on top of a niche when you like talk about components and like how they work together and the manufacturing and blah, 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 all that stuff. And you kind of have to talk in very complex terms a lot of times to explain things. And I'll make a video talking about like one thing I think I did a really good job explaining, right? I think I do a really good job explaining because it makes sense in my own brain. But then when it comes out and a lot of people are confused or completely not misinformed, but they just take it, they don't understand it correctly. Live streams, that never happens because people can literally ask me a question to go into more detail about something. And then we can kind of explore that together and explain better than just a pre-recorded video that I have to assume people are at a certain level of understanding. It's a problem. And there hasn't been a lot. Actually, it's been really dry. It's been really dry for news recently. Yeah. I think everyone's just literally stealth. Everyone's kind of like in stealth mode right now, trying to do the spatial computing thing and like trying to get closer to what the software inside Vision Pro is, I think, for operating system. At least if you're a big company. Small companies, I think if you're in a VR gaming right now, you're probably in stealth mode until Quest 3 Lite comes out. And Vision Pro, people are waiting for WWDC to actually see Vision OS 2.0 and what that will bring, because there's still a lot of stuff in Vision OS that should be accessible to devs that aren't. But yeah. Quest 3 Lite will not bring anything new, but I think they're just like, I think the Quest 3 hype has kind of died, right, a bit since its launch. Like, I would say it's still doing well, right? Like, sure, it's not Quest 2, but I'm not even sure if anything will be like Quest 2 levels during pandemic, but I think Quest 3 is doing pretty respectably. But that hype that came from launch is kind of like very quiet now. I think it makes sense for game devs to like wait for a new hype, a new hype train to jump on, and that would be a cheaper headset that is more boring than Quest 3, but whatever. Yeah, I think that's the most valuable thing about Quest 3, and I think that was the main thing. I'm gonna have to go back and watch my Quest 3 review, because I think the main thing I argued was the Quest 3's retention. I think I predicted in that video that the Quest 3's retention would be way higher than Quest 2. Which I'm glad is actually turning out to be right, but it's also kind of confusing because Quest 3 is obviously has a higher price of entry. So you have to wonder how much of that is survivorship bias. People who are still interested in VR after Quest 2 would buy a Quest 3 and use it more because they're already kind of the people that are sold on it, right? You probably get a lot of that more, but at the same time, I still think it's valuable. So, yeah. What about using your channel to highlight indie? So here's the truth. I really like using Twitter to highlight stuff quickly. I just think it's very nice. I still really like Twitter. I know people don't like Twitter anymore for reasons, but I like Twitter because it's very easy to get quick info, new up-to-date info, without people trying to hit the 8-minute mark. I don't need to watch an 8-minute video just to figure out like what's in the new Quest update. I literally can just look on Twitter, like read one tweet and bam, done. So, yeah. Oh, hello. My Twitter's all VR as well. I like blocked every. I think if you don't use Twitter for politics, you're probably much happier than using Twitter for politics. But somehow politics did get into VR Twitter this past week, but it was kind of funny. But anyway, USB bandwidth for. I think one of the things I want to do with Vision Pro is definitely I want to explore the compute puck idea more, because I'm actually using Vision Pro a lot, complementary with some of my other devices to do real work. Because I actually brought the Vision Pro and the headless MacBook on my. I had a flight to San Diego, which we actually went to an event called ShelterCon, which is I got the shirt while I was there. It's basically a rave event, but like everyone there are all like VR chat nerds. I I got to meet Tupper, who's the community leader at VR Chat, give him a Vision Pro demo. He was kind of pissed off at me for giving him that demo because it clicked with his brain. He's like, crap, this is actually, I kind of get it now. But it was nice meeting a lot of other VR people in real life and kind of talking about things. I gave a bunch of people Vision Pro demos because I think the Apple Store demos of the Vision Pro are so freaking stupid. You need someone like me who's freaking insane to kind of understand the use case or give people at that VR user levels to understand why it's valuable. So I gave a ton of demos at that event, hung out with cool people. There was one other person there who brought their Vision Pro, got to we both put them on and like raved together, taking spatial videos of each other in the process. It was really funny, but good event. Sorry, I was rambling there. But the whole point is, I think having the keyboard and trackpad with compute and complementary with the headset, maybe making the headset lighter weight makes a lot of sense in the long run. So. Samsung makes 360 laptops that fold backwards. So actually, yeah, I didn't see the Samsung one, but there was a product that my coworkers had that was kind of neat. They showed me while I was traveling with them. And it was like some, I think it was called Yoga Book 9i, but it was like a dual screen tablet with a keyboard as well, and it was pretty cool. It was a very cool product. One of the most impressive tablet PCs I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, I was very shocked that it was Lenovo who made it because it actually seemed very... Like, I'm not saying Lenovo is a bad company, but like a lot of the stuff that they make are like... feel like tech demos that they just release as products, whereas this thing felt like actually pretty well thought out and like how it worked and stuff. But yeah. I still feel the Vision Pro pointless even as a developer device. That's okay. I still think XR is a very long-term thing. I think Vision Pro is very important as a step along this giant, extremely hard to get into mass consumer industry. And heck, it might not ever actually get to mass market in some ways, right? Like, people are so obsessed with replacing the phone, but maybe VR will... it might never happen. I don't even think that'll happen for a lot of people. It just doesn't make sense. It's too difficult to get that for at least current generations of people. So yeah, Lenovo Legion laptops are popular. I might be wrong. I guess I'm too focused on like Lenovo releases a bunch of like random AR and VR headsets that like never really do anything. So maybe I'm too biased from that angle. I don't know anything for chip news much. The SteamVR Theater stereo feature is about playing 3D movies. But the problem with that, why would Valve want to implement something that doesn't really benefit their ecosystem? Like, Valve doesn't really like doing things that are like, unless they're like big bets of how they will improve Steam, and unless they're gonna have a big push on movies all of a sudden, I don't see them doing anything for that. So Valve made an MP3 player in the overlay, but that's because they sell soundtracks on Steam. Any updates about your work with EOZ? We have a few products that we're pretty excited about. It was cool to brainstorm a lot of stuff, and there's actually a product in here that there's a huge product that I don't think I'm supposed to really share. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff we're working on. One of the things we're really interested in working on is making a face tracker, a low profile face tracker that can go on as many headsets as we can get. Similar to like what the HTC facial tracker was doing, but for some reason HTC stopped mass producing that one, so it's not for sale anymore. We want to see if we can get one out there for consumers to buy that would, yeah. Not a tracker mount, but like an actual, we want to make a whole tracker for that. But we'll see how that goes. We're very serious about it. I'm not saying we're not serious about it, but like the biggest difficulties come from the software side, the model. But we think we found a good partner to deal with that. So actually the hardware is really easy. The hardware is super easy. Yeah, it's all the other stuff. So yeah, I'm really shocked that HTC stopped selling that. I mean, I hope it's not because they wanted to bolster their hardware ecosystem, because obviously they released the new facial tracker that only works for the XR Elite headset. I hope that's not why they did it, but yeah. Because I think it's very likely over time, other than the Quest 3 Lite, I think over time every headset will prioritize including eye tracking, but might not include face tracking automatically. So yeah, I think it is valuable to have a face tracker that works best as you can with everything. Who made the best depth sensor? So the depth sensor in Quest 3, there's not really a best depth sensor. They both kind of do the same thing. It's just Meta seems to be very afraid to run the depth sensor in Quest 3 a lot. And I think it's because their power management chip might be a bit too power hungry. So yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's that much. The interesting thing is someone on Twitter pointed out that the depth. So if you know how depth sensors work, they basically project light into IR light into the environment and make like patterns. Usually it's dots. Usually they put a bunch of dots in your environment, and then the cameras see that and can like kind of map out a depth map better by seeing all those dots all over things. Usually it's dots. Quest 3 apparently uses lines, which is pretty interesting. They use a bunch of straight lines, and they use like a diffraction grating on the actual projector to make that. You very often don't see lines. So that's kind of neat, very novel, I guess. And apparently it's to save some processing because it's a bit easier to do it that way. But yeah. Yo, it's Brad. Breaking news. Pavlov update allows 64 players and can spawn chickens. You almost didn't have me with that, but when you said spawn chickens, I think that's the most important feature. Like Lighthouse base station, yeah, but it's not like the base station does like one wide sweep with like kind of one long line, whereas this is like a bunch of lines like next to each other. Yeah. What is your general consensus from the experience you have with VR and interacting with people? What is the level at which FOV is acceptable? I'm actually not much of a FOV, like I'm a person that, okay, let me put it this way, because people get very upset when I say that. Okay. Think about how long it took. Well, let's use Quest 3 lenses, for example. Quest 3 lenses are very good, right? Very, very good. Beautiful edge-to-edge clarity. Pretty much like no distortions as you move your head, no pupil swim, no very good lenses, right? To get something like that took us a very long time. Like even the Fresnel lenses before that, you did not have very good edge-to-edge clarity. You didn't have as well as a stable image in some cases. Basically, I would like companies to prioritize that side of things rather than like pumping out huge FOVs and having a bunch of different distortions in that FOV, because that usually is what happens with optics. And when we start talking about like things like varifocal lenses, if we ever want stuff like that, that becomes even more difficult to implement into products if you have a very large or wide FOV lens. So I put FOV as like a nice to have, but a lot more things in front of it than I think people would expect me to feel. I think even getting around at least 100 is okay. for a lot of people. But yeah, yeah. But they do have Mura, and yeah, again, like all I'm saying is there's a lot of things, there's a lot of different properties of optics than just FOV. And again, as soon as you bump that FOV up a lot, it's really hard to lower the abnormalities a bit. Doesn't FOV really depend on what you use? Yeah, like, and that's kind of thing is like I'm probably not the person that should be reviewing Pimax products, because I think a lot of their designs are, whether by mistake or on purpose, are very focused on the simming community, right? The simmer, because I think what people want when they're in a cockpit is very different from what people want doing other stuff. If that makes sense. So yeah, I think wider FOV makes sense for simmers, but I think in a lot of ways doesn't make some sense compared to other focuses for optics that other use cases have. So like for me, the one reason I don't like aspheric lenses, even though they're like, obviously they have very good efficiency, very good clarity. Not even just the weight, but a lot of these aspheric lenses just really have a lot of problems with a lot of chromatic aberration. But more than the chromatic aberration, a lot of them have a ton of pupil swim. A lot of them do. And I freaking hate that. I can't use any headset that uses pupil swim. I get actually pretty uncomfortable quite quickly. Even the Pico 4 has a bit of pupil swim, which I was pretty shocked by, because, you know, I know the Pico Neo 3 had some pupil swim, but even the 4 has a little bit as well near the edges, and it's just like, I can't use a headset that has that, right? Yeah. So I'm willing to trade off, like, I'm even willing to trade off brightness for some things. Like, obviously it's much nicer to have super high brightness and stuff, and high contrast and stuff, but if I can have like a very, very stable, beautiful image, high pixels per degree, without any of that swim stuff, then at a lower FOV compared to adding some of that stuff with a wider FOV, I'm going to push more toward the lower FOV stuff. XR4 versus ABP. Oh man, I haven't tried XR4 in a while, and one thing I was kind of concerned by was there was something that I saw in my demo unit of XR4 that I didn't even report on because they said it was just an issue with that unit. I should have reported on it. This is why I don't like these shows. But there's like these two like dark lines in the visuals. It was kind of weird, somewhat noticeable. I noticed it. I brought it up to them. They did the classic like, well, I don't think I kind of don't know what you want, but anything that you do see probably is just because these are not mass produced at the factory. Blah 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 blah. Simple argument that every company gives, and I was concerned that I saw a real customer who bought an XR4 report that as well, which even that is pretty distracting. I don't know what was causing it. I think someone said they might fix it in future waves of hardware for it, but yeah. Pupil swim is where the headset shoots chlorinated pool water in your eye, obviously. So pupil swim is basically like this. You move your head around, and the geometric distortion, like let's say you're looking at like a straight grid, right? Like a straight grid, like graph paper. You move your head around certain ways, and you'll see it like wave a bit. You'll do it like wave a bit. That's the best example of pupil swim I can kind of give you without really talking too much. That was actually probably why I liked the Index for so long, because the Index, even though it had obviously the glare issues and the edge-to-edge clarity and the sweet, all that stuff, Valve clearly Valve managed to get a high FOV without a lot of that stuff. So like that's actually say what you want about the glare and like the sweet spot garbage, but at least they put optical comfort pretty high up on their list when they made those optics. So and the pixels per, I mean, yeah, the pixels per, going back to an index these days would be so impossible for me though. Like, ugh, painful. Quest 3 I think might have it a little bit. Right. I haven't used my Quest 3 in a while. I think it does have it in a very, very far edges. Oh, a band distortion across the center on the Quest 3. Again, the Quest 3's biggest problem, I think, visually, other than the fact that the lenses are a bit too good for the displays that are in the Quest 3, frankly. Like, they're kind of too good. And I kind of learned recently that maybe I don't want lenses to be... I don't want lenses to show all the disgusting properties of the display behind it. Maybe I would like the opposite direction. Kind of like how there was two versions of the Samsung Odyssey. There was the Odyssey and the Odyssey Plus, and the only difference was the Odyssey Plus had a basically a diffuser film on top of the display that kind of melded the screen door effect together, or at least try to make it look like there's less screen door effect, even though it's the same exact display. Which, by the way, the Index also has a diffuser film on top of it to do the same thing for LCD. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I prefer that than just seeing all the imperfections in my display. Yeah, I think that's maybe better. Micro OLED is too expensive for Quest 3 type products. We might see it in the LG headset. We don't know. I don't think that's obvious yet. Okay. How long have I been streaming? Pretty long, I feel. Why can I? Oh, 2 hours. Yeah, I always can. It's like there's always an itch in the back of my brain that's like, Brad, you streamed for 2 hours. Maybe it's time to stop soon. Besides the Vision Pro, what's your primary headset? I kind of don't use anything except the Vision Pro right now. Again, it's not that I... So Vision Pro... Actually, okay, I don't want to talk about Vision Pro, but like, just generally, I like having one headset that does everything all day, and I'm too lazy to bust out another headset to do something different. Vision Pro doesn't do PC VR perfectly in any sense of the way, but because I'm already wearing it for the rest of the stuff I do all day, it just kind of makes sense for me to just pop up the AL VR app and then hop into VR chat when I need to do that and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Mycelium. I do think that Meta and Google need to figure out an agreement. Because Meta has a huge lead on immersive content. Like we always talk about ecosystems that are built out. Valve has Steam. So let's say Valve makes a spatial computing headset. They literally can focus on the Steam Deck library, right? That could sell, that they can literally position their headset as like a console that plays all of their headsets in all the Steam games in a spatial computing environment with the Valve Touch, right? Meta or Apple has the iPad compatibility, iOS compatibility, which works very well. So you got all that going on for Apple. Samsung and Google have the Google Play Store, very similar to Apple. Meta is kind of they have the immersive gaming library, which they built out over the years, which is great for a game console, releasing a game console. But it's not so useful when it comes to this like multi-use case scenario that they still need to figure that out. And I'm not sure how, they just I guess, yeah, it's a really hard problem. Anyway, yeah. I think I'm good to go. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me. If you could you all click the like button for me? I don't know why I'm asking that, but I think it'd be funny. I really appreciate everyone being here and talking with me. Sorry that it's been very quiet on my channel recently. Again, got a new job, moved across the country. It's also been pretty quiet in XR, so yeah. Thanks everyone. It's been really, really fun. Thanks guys. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks. Goodbye. 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 Like I did with your mom last. Shut up.